This is the gear that I wish I had when I first started backpacking. Let's get to it. So much for clicking on the video. If you're new here to the channel, my name is Thor, and on this channel we talk about backpacking and hiking. If you have any interest in those two areas, please consider subscribing to the channel and turning on your bell notification so you don't ever miss a single video from me. When you start out backpacking, there's kind of one of two ways that typically people will go. The first is the budget route. You start hopping on YouTube, you search budget backpacking gear, and you start buying gear, because this is one of the things that I did. I hopped on Amazon, I bought a $60 pack, weighed 7 pounds, and it was made out of like some 5000D nylon fabric, but it was overkill. It was too heavy and it wasn't the right piece of gear for me. And you have the other end of the spectrum, those people that get sucked into the ultralight backpacking path, and pun intended. And this is not a bad path to go on, or even, it's not that it's right or wrong, it's just that this pathway is designed for people who have experience in backpacking, and ultralight gear can be overwhelming and it's really expensive. So we have both ends of the spectrum. We have those on a budget trying to save money, and those that are going absolutely crazy buying ultralight gear. But as a beginner backpacker, one of the best places you can start is at a middle ground. If you don't know if you want to get into backpacking, or you do and you're not ready to make the investment into more gear, the most important point that I can make to you is that you need to get the gear, no matter what it is, and get on trails. Through experience and testing out gear, you start to realize what you like and what you don't like. But this gear today is going to be a good middle ground. It's high quality, it's affordable, and it's going to last a long time. Whether you're a beginner backpacker or a seasoned veteran, this video is going to offer some great gear options for you. So stick around to make sure that you get to see every piece of gear. I want to go through the gear in the order that I would purchase it if I was just starting out. This order starts with a shelter. First piece of gear is going to be a shelter. The shelter is the first thing that you should buy as a beginner backpacker, because this is really going to determine all of the rest of the gear that you're going to have to purchase for that type of backpacking. As a beginner, I think it's easier and it's smarter to go with a tent. There's just a lot of components to hammock camping that can be overwhelming to a beginner, so I think a tent is a good place to start. Now, the world of tents is crazy, so many tents out there, but the one that I feel like is a really good middle ground between functionality, weight, and price is the Sierra Designs Klymit Flashlight 2. This tent I have had for probably 5 or 6 years. I've let my kids play it in the house, been on camping trips, and I can tell you one thing, this tent is going to last. Not only is this tent durable, it's really affordable. This tent, with no coupons, no special sales, it's $199 US, which for this tent is amazing. It really is. The weight of this tent is 3 pounds 6 ounces. Now, something I would suggest is, if you're going to go with this type of tent, this pack size and weight is pretty comparable to the MSR Hubba series. What I would do, and what I have done personally, is I store the poles on the outside of my pack, and I roll the tent up in a way that it's just the perfect width to go inside my pack. Because this packed the way it is with poles and everything in it is not going to fit. That's just a small little tip for this type of tent, or if you have a tent with poles. This tent is a semi-freestanding tent, which for those of you who don't know means that you have to stake it out in order for it to stand up on its own. A very simple setup, it's double wall, it has lots of cool features like a light diffuser to give ambient light inside the tent. It has a nice porch mode that gives you lots of livable space, plenty of room for gear, and on those nice warm summer nights where you want to watch the stars, you can take the top off and enjoy the beautiful view. Now, if I'm a beginner, this tent is going to be great. But some of the things that you have to think about is that it's semi-freestanding. So if you're like me and you live in Utah and there's lots of slick rock to set up on and not a lot of places to stake it out, you're gonna have to be conscious of that. And as a beginner backpacker, that could be something that's intimidating. So just think about it. But as a quick tip, if you have a semi-freestanding tent, you can use rocks to tie out the corners to, you can tie it off to trees, you can tie it off to whatever you can find, but you can make it work if you have to set it up without staking it out. So if I was just starting out backpacking, the shelter that I would choose is the Sierra Designs Klymit Flashlight 2, or at least something similar. Okay, now that we purchased our tent, we can move to the next gear item that you should buy if you're just starting out. The next gear item is your sleeping bag. that whatever type of insulation is going to keep you warm at night. Let's touch on insulation types. You have down and you have synthetic. When starting out, it can be intimidating to look at the price of down bags and think to yourself, do I really need to spend this much money to get out on trail? While down has a lot of advantages over synthetic, I find that synthetic is just too heavy for me to justify. So if I was just starting out, I would want to find a bag that was a combination of synthetic and down, because you're getting the benefits of both. And as you're just starting out, not wanting to invest a lot of money, that's a really good option. And fortunately, Kelty has created sleeping bags called the Cosmic Series, which depending on which year model you get, it's either a 550 or a 650 down. There's a ratio of 84% down to 16% synthetic. What this does and what this means is that 84% of the material is duck down, and then the other 16% is synthetic material. The advantage to this, you get a huge cost reduction, and you still get the benefits of the packability and the performance of down. So the bag that I would recommend and the bag that I would choose if I was starting out all over again would be the Kelty Cosmic Down 20. The reason I would choose the 20 degree bag is because this is going to be able to allow me to backpack for 3 seasons. It means I'm going to be able to get out in spring, summer, and fall, and even push into some early winter trips if you want to. Really quick, talking about the rating on a bag, you've got to be sure to note if it's a survival rating, a transition rating, or a comfort rating. This is the rating system that companies use in order to market their sleeping bags. And when a sleeping bag is tested, they can use whatever rating they decide. Let's say they get a survival rating of 20 degrees, a comfort rating of 30 degrees. They can market the bag as a 20 degree bag. But then if you go out on a 20 degree trip, you are going to be pushing the limits of that bag. So take note of the ratings of each bag and make sure that you're choosing a bag accordingly. The Cosmic Series is rated at 19 degrees comfort rating. It's one of the most affordable bags that has down in it. This bag is about $150 depending on where you buy it, not on sale. So this is the long version and it weighs just over 3 pounds. The regular version is right about 3 pounds or just a little bit under. So really it's a good middle ground between down and synthetic, but also something that doesn't break the bank. Let's talk about some of the features of this specific sleeping bag. It has a draft collar, which is going to block any wind from getting down into your bag while you're sleeping at night. It has a really smooth double zipper system so that if you wanted to, you could ventilate from the bottom and you're not struggling to get out of your bag in the middle of the night when you have to pee. There are quilts as an option, and if you feel comfortable with that, great. Quilts are something that I would recommend after you've had some time backpacking under your belt because they can be a little bit more finicky. So don't rush into buying a quilt. Try out a sleeping bag first and see what you think. Overall, this is a very high quality bag that's gonna last you a long time. Again, whether you're beginning, whether you're experienced, this is really a great bag to have in your arsenal of gear. Even if you use it for a couple years or a year and then you have friends that want to come with you, it's good to have this bag because it's going to last and it's going to keep you warm and comfortable. All right, so we've got our shelter system, we've got our sleeping bag, now we need a sleeping pad. And the pad that I would recommend is going to be the Klymit Static V series. Whether you go with the uninsulated or the insulated version, I think this pad is one of the best beginner pads on the market. Sleeping pads are where you can get into a whole nother world of expense and confusion. So you do have a couple types of sleeping pads. You have the closed cell foam pads and the air pads, and then you have self-inflating, which I don't really recommend for backpacking because they tend to be super heavy. But so for the sake of this, we're just talking about an air pad. You have an insulated air pad and a non-insulated air pad. The difference is going to be price and R value. R value is the reflective value that a pad has and the ability that it has to keep you warm at night. This pad has an R value of 1.3. So this pad is going to be good for late spring, all summer long, and that's what I would recommend it for. Do sell an insulated version of this pad that's just about $20 or $30 more that I would recommend. I want to pick one of those up to try it, but all I've been able to try is the Klymit Static V non-insulated version, and it's really comfortable. I typically backpack with the Nemo Tensor insulated, and I wouldn't say it's in the same ballgame as that, but you're talking a huge price difference. The price on this, depending on where you buy it, is $50 to $60. Pick this up in Walmart, on Amazon, and on Klymit's website. Also, a 23-inch wide pad, which is great because it's not the narrow 20-inch pads, which I don't really recommend unless you're a very small person. I just have found that I slide off of them at night, that my shoulders aren't fairly supported, and I feel like I never know what to do with my arms when I'm on a 20-inch pad. So I always go with the 25. But the 23 inches is great because it's really, again, it's that middle ground between the widest and the narrowest. 75D material, which is really strong. My Nemo Tensor is about a 20D, so it's 3 times the thickness of fabric. So this pad's really gonna last. I was just starting out. I'm not gonna be going out in the middle of winter when it's dropping under freezing and it's so cold that I'm gonna be miserable. I'm gonna get out in warm summer months, and this pad is going to offer me all the things that I need in order to do that. If I was gonna restart and get a new pad as a beginner, I would go with the Klymit series, whether it's the non-insulated or the insulated. If I had to choose one, I would say go with the insulated and you'll be able to go 3 seasons. Okay, so now we've got to talk about the essence of what we're talking about, backpacking. You've got to have a backpack. Now you have a few different types of backpacks. You have a external frame, an internal frame, you have frameless packs, you have what I call semi-frameless packs, which are just like some frame-like pieces, so it's not a whole rigid thing, but they've got some bars down the back, and it can be really confusing knowing which type is right for you. Save you the heartache of buying packs and trying them out and not knowing what to do, and give you a really good beginner pack that's going to offer a lot of value, a lot of features, and it's really durable. The Shadowlight 60-liter backpack from Outdoor Vitals. The pack is bridging the gaps between ultralight backpacking and beginners, and bringing a really approachable pack to the market. Now, what makes this more approachable is that rather than it just being a tube of fabric with a few pockets on the outside, it has 2 side pockets on each side. There's an upper pouch to fit various things in. I would say it's about the size of a 700 milliliter pot. I can fit my MSR Titan kettle in here pretty good. Not that I store my pot on the outside of my pack, but that's about the volume of this pocket. It also has a cinch closure on there, so if you put something in there, it's not gonna fall out. The second side pocket will hold 2 1-liter water bottles, which is great because when you're on trail, we all want to be using the Smart water bottles or the Life water bottles, and you can fit 2 of them in the pocket. And keep in mind, you've got 2 pockets on this side and 2 pockets on the other side. So there's lots of room to store stuff on the outside of this pack. The other thing that makes this really approachable is when you're learning how to pack your backpack for trips, you worry about putting stuff at the bottom and not being able to reach it. But this pack offers a feature that I haven't seen on any other pack, and that being the middle zipper. So what you can do is you can open up this pack and you can see all the contents of your pack without taking it out, which I do think is really cool. It's not something I've seen before, and I'm kind of shocked. This is a cool feature that really makes this backpack even more approachable. Now, we have a total of 4 pockets so far. Let's add 2 more. There's 2 mesh pockets on the front. Fit a Chair Zero in each pocket easily, so you've got tons of storage in the front pockets. Now let's talk about the back of the pack. You have 2 generously sized hip belt pockets. So if we're keeping tally, we're at 8 pockets now. 2 hip belt pockets, 4 side pockets total, and 2 front mesh pockets. Fully padded hip belt and fully padded shoulder straps. It has a load lifting system, which you don't see on a lot of ultralight packs or a lot of lightweight packs because typically your weight isn't enough to use the load lifters, but this pack is going to be able to carry more weight because it does have an aluminum internal frame. So it has these load lifters in order to pull that pack weight towards your shoulders and really a more comfortable and efficient fit. In the back of this pad, to offer more support and also some more functionality and versatility, it comes with a sit pad. Whether you're using this just to pull out and sit on while you're taking a break, or you're using it to insulate on the inside of your Chair Zero, it's really nice just to have an extra piece of gear that's already integrated into your pack and you really don't notice the weight because it's 1 or 2 ounces. Okay, now that we've talked about all the really cool features that make this a really approachable pack for beginners, let's talk about the weight and the price on this pack. It's $199 US, and the weight is 1 pound 15 ounces. So this pack meets the sub 2 pound category and is under $200, which you're gonna struggle to find another pack that's gonna be as feature dense and as durable and as approachable as this pack for that price point. Now, are there cheaper packs out there? Yes. Are there more expensive packs? Yes. But again, beginners should try to find a happy medium. They shouldn't be going for ultra budget or ultra expensive. You want gear that's going to be comfortable, that's going to last, that's going to offer you simplicity. So if I was to start over all again, I would end up going with the Shadowlight backpack. That's just because of its price point, its weight, and its approachability. Alright guys, so backpacking doesn't need to break the bank, and it doesn't need to be intimidating or scary. As you can see, these are the most important gear items that you need to buy when you're considering going backpacking. Because clothing, food, all that other stuff is really easy to come by. Most of it you've already got. Take everything in this video today with a grain of salt, and in the comments below, let me know what you think about my gear choices. Also, let me know what beginner backpacking gear items you feel are best. Just remember, if you take nothing else from this video, other than this one point, that's all that matters. The one point I want to make is to take what you have and get out on trail. Don't worry so much about weight. Don't worry so much about what you're gonna look like, how old your gear is. Just get out on trail and enjoy the world of backpacking. It's an amazing place to be, and you'll see some of the coolest things you're ever gonna see in your life while you're out on trail and have great experiences. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please smash the like button if you found value, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your bell notification. Backpackers, thanks for stopping by.